Arizona.
You say great guitarists, of course, at the top of most people's lists, Jimi Hendrix. The guitar he played, a Fender, the first company really to amplify the classic American instrument. Very excited because part of the Tempe Music Festival this weekend includes an appearance by one of the largest 18-wheelers I've ever seen, Bob Hendrix. Yes, he is related to Jimi Hendrix's cousins.
That's right, absolutely.
You're 3 years younger than Jimmy?
3 years younger than Jimmy, and we grew up together. And it's our great honor to bring this to Phoenix because we've never been here to Tempe before.
Right.
And this is our first time at Tempe, and it's just, we're looking really excited about it.
We were hoping to go inside, but it takes a lot of time to actually prepare the inside of this for folks to come in and take a look. What's inside this thing?
We have 5 audiovisual presentations of Jimmy, 2 documentaries, and then we have a surround sound theater with 5.2 surround sound of Jimmy performing at the Isle of Wight, which was one of his last performances in 1970. There were like 600,000 people there. And so we have that in a surround sound format, and it's just great. I mean, it's a timeline of Jimmy's life. So you get on board, you get to see, you know, some baby pictures of him and some of the early bands he played with, like Tina Turner, the Isley Brothers, and then how he, you know, came into his own.
I know you've got some of the things he wore. Did you ever, as his friend and cousin, say, you know, what are you thinking wearing this stuff?
You know, he had his own fashion statement, and at the time in London, in the UK, where that was really strong, it was even greater than Paris. The UK was, as far as fashion goes, in the 60s, late 60s and 70s. And so he just developed a style of dressing that still is cool to this day.
What was it like to witness his rise? I mean, you must have always looked at him as that's my cousin Jimmy, and,
right.
and look at the following he is
right.
gaining.
I think it's because it's about the music, and I think that the true folks that love Jimmy's music, if you haven't heard any of Jimmy's music, come on down and to the festival and come on board and listen to some of the music. But it's timeless.
He died more than 30 years ago. Are you surprised at how timeless his music has become?
Absolutely. It shocks me every day as I travel with the museum all over the country and I listen to the fans talk about Jimmy. It's really amazing that he's still strong to this day.
Does anybody out there now remind you of him? Well, you must sense his influence in most guitarists.
Oh, I think just about every guitarist that plays guitar knows some Jimmy licks. So every time I hear a guitar, and I'll tell you a real quick story. We saw James Brown's band, and I heard the guitars in the James Brown band do a Jimmy lick, and then I knew we'd come full circle.
You know, we were talking during the commercial break how you found out about his death. You had no idea, and then you got a phone call from a radio DJ.
Right, he called me and he asked me how I felt, and I said, feel about what? And he said, hadn't you heard that Jimmy just died? You know, and I was devastated. I had no idea he had passed away.
Interesting story behind that. Your family regained the rights to his music only about, what, 7 years ago, maybe?
About 95, right?
You used to be a higher up in Costco. Now you're hanging on a bus, and I imagine you get looks everywhere you go in this thing.
Everywhere we go, it's just really fun. And it's exciting. I mean, it's just to hear all the stories about when they heard, first time they heard a Jimi Hendrix song or when they got their first Jimi Hendrix album. And I love to hear the stories, and we just have a great time. So. Well,
obviously you're so passionate about it. Bob Hendrix, we appreciate you joining us, and then I'm sure people will be asking you to tell more Jimmy stories yourself.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
You can see the Red House tour bus, the Jimi Hendrix Traveling Museum, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, out at Tempe Beach Park for the big music festival, the inaugural music festival. Bruce, this thing is incredible. I know you're up in the sky and can't really see it. It is just huge.
I was looking at it, and I'll tell you, everyone's got a Jimi Hendrix story, as he was saying. My first rock concert when I was 13, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, you're kidding me.
My first rock concert ever.
Oh, I'll tell Bob.
Yeah, it was awesome. Anyway, well, that's very cool. I'm going to have to go down to Tempe and check that out.
Your fire.